Welcome to Fayette Footprints, a podcast about the people, places, and events of Fayette County, Georgia. My name is Kenny Blum. I'm a longtime resident of Fayette County, a bit of a history nerd, and now an amateur podcaster. Welcome back to Fayette Footprints. You know, as promised, I didn't want this to be just a history podcast. We've got all kinds of organizations around the county that are kind of unique to Fayette County. And this summer I had the opportunity to participate with Bloom Closet. Some of you may be familiar with that, where they help to provide clothing for foster children around the entire state of Georgia. And during that time, I found out that Bloom Closet is just one little facet of Bloom Our Youth. So I had the pleasure of introducing and interviewing Miss Becky Davenport, who is the president and CEO of Bloom Our Youth. Welcome to the show, Miss Davenport.
Well, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is awesome. I know there are a lot of aspects of Bloom Our Youth, so let's kind of go back to the beginning. We'll see how that works. I know you've been with Bloom Our Youth for over 20 years, which is pretty cool in a nonprofit agency. Can you take us back to the beginning when it was titled Fayette Youth Protection Homes and how that first started?
Yes. Our organization actually started we opened our doors in 1989. We were formerly known as Fayette Youth Protection Home, which we were a completely different organization back then, but still serving children in foster care was at the heart of what we did. We just did it in a different way. And so we started back in 1989 when a man by the name of Jim Friday, a local Fayette County citizen, he served on a jury trial where a couple of the children whose parents were incarcerated had to be put into a juvenile detention facility because there was no place in Fayette County to put those children. So Jim was a very passionate man. He was a Delta pilot, and he started up a grassroots effort in Fayette County to build a group home for children who were displaced, disenfranchised, homeless in the foster care system. And so that is how Fayette Youth Protection Home started.
Okay.
So we started out with one group home, which was on the northern end of Fayette County off Highway 279. And then later, 10 years later, in the late 1990s, opened up the Asden Johnson home down in Brooks.
Okay.
And so when I came on board in 2004, they weren't putting children into group homes anymore. And so it was just trying to figure that out. But I think one thing we've always done well at Bloom is staying on top of child welfare initiatives and directives coming down from the state. And so our story then is how we sort of morphed over the years. So,
what got you interested and passionate about this?
You know, this job actually landed in my lap. Okay. And I will say, before I had this job, I worked at a church in children's ministries and then later as the program director there. And so definitely my heart and my joy was we worked on some wonderful mission projects while I did children's ministries. So the job itself spoke to me, and I think somebody up there had a plan for me. I honestly, that's my belief, and I was very, very blessed to literally have this job fall out of the sky at just the right time in my life, and was able to take it on, and it's just been, really has blessed me more than anything. It's just, I love my job. I'm very blessed.
You literally, I'm sorry to use the term, bloom where you were planted, didn't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's, as corny as that sounds, It's true.
The name Bloom itself is a very powerful word. Can you share with us the story behind the name change and what it signifies for the organization and the children you serve?
Yes, absolutely. I think at the time that we rebranded ourselves was just about 10 years ago. As I said, we were formerly known as Fayette Youth Protection Homes. I think the name Bloom, it's so outside of the box, a little unusual. It makes people ask you, like, what is that? What does that mean? It's an unusual name, and so it required us to do something outside of the box to live up to our name. Mm-hmm. But I think more than anything, it signifies, it's sort of a metaphor for the way we wanted our organization to be, which was to think outside the box, to go beyond what is required, and to allow the children in our care to achieve their God-given potential, even though they have are in probably the worst circumstances of their lives. And so how can we set the tone for the organization so that every child in our care will flourish and bloom? And so there's so many different possibilities for the name Bloom. And I think one thing that we do well at this organization, like I said, is think outside of the box, to be creative on behalf of these children, because they have so many things that are working against them. And that's what we're about, is to just be creative and allow them to become the best person they were meant to be.
And without this being a tag against government agencies, it sounds like you moved from what sounded like a government agency that normally doesn't bend and flex very well or be creative.
Absolutely. I think also Fayette Youth Protection Home, it did. It sounded like a government agency, and also it limited us to Fayette County. And I think one of the things we wanted to do was to expand geographically and just to set no limitations on our geographic boundaries and the number of children that we would serve, and it just allowed us to think outside the box.
Bloom, our youth, has several key initiatives, including like Bloom Closet and Bloom's foster care program and other parts. Can you tell us a little bit, let's start with Bloom Closet.
Okay, so the Bloom Closet is a boutique where children in foster care all across the state of Georgia can go and get a week's supply of clothing, books, school supplies, backpacks, whatever a child would need, we have in the Bloom Closet. It is a very special place. The Bloom Closet, it's decorated like, it looks like a real store.
It does, yes. Children
have asked for gift certificates to the Bloom Closet, which I don't know if that makes me happy or sad, yeah. But it's a very special place. Over the years, we have tried to improve accessibility for the Bloom Closet and have several different offshoots of the Bloom Closet. One is the Bloom Closet Express, which is a 21-foot, it's a store on wheels. Yeah, it looks like the Partridge Family bus. It's a store on wheels. It's decorated like a store inside, and then we can pull out racks, and we go out to group homes and foster care agencies all across the state. Right. We have a very young staff who they all love the idea of getting in that bus and spending the night down in Brunswick and just bringing some joy to children all across the state who are living in group homes and foster care.
Right, because the Bloom Closet itself is here in Fayetteville, right? Are there other?
Yes, the Bloom Closet is here in Fayetteville, and we also recently opened up our first satellite location in Rome.
Okay.
That was about a year and a half ago, and we're partnering with an organization called Restoration Rome and have a Bloom Closet up there. In the city of Rome and in the surrounding area, Floyd County, the northwest quadrant of the state, they have really embraced the Bloom Closet up there, and we're super excited about that program.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Are there plans to open more Bloom Closets around the state, or are you going to rely a little more on the Bloom Express and Bloom Direct?
I think a combination of all of that. I think we definitely will be opening up other satellite locations, slowly. Right. But mentioning Bloom Direct, that's another great way that we've been able to reach kids in outside areas.
Right.
Right now we're operating a pilot program in Region 9, where that's in the southwest quadrant of our corner of our state, and it's mailing emergency boxes to children who are coming into foster care. And so our pledge is, if you're a foster parent in that area or a case manager, you can go on our website, you can custom order a box for your foster child, and we will ship it within 48 hours of that child's placement into the home.
Right, because when a child first goes into foster, they usually have just what they're wearing, don't they?
Yes, yeah. They're at a very low point of their lives. Yeah. They have nothing. And so everything that we do through the Bloom Closet, whether it be the Express or those direct boxes, is to restore dignity, to allow them to fit in with their peers at school.
Yeah.
Just to bring them comfort. Everything is very personalized, because I think going into foster care can be such a dehumanizing. It can be so dehumanizing for children, and so it's our message to them: you are not a number in a system. You matter. Here are the things that you need in order to to start school, a new school, and you're with a new family. And I think, too, like those boxes, they help the case managers focus on other things other than, oh, we've got this new kid. We got to go get them clothes. We got to get all the baby, all their things that they need. Well, that arrives on their doorstep. And so they can focus on other more important things.
Got it.
So
I noticed that when we were here during the summer that when like the first stage of filtering, y'all don't take everything.
No, we're very picky about what we put in the closet. I mean, but everything that we get, we will find a place for. We recycle, we donate to other organizations, but we try to get the message out to our community and to our donors that we're looking for things that, they wouldn't, that they would put their own child in, so that but our community has been so generous and has we've got some really good stuff in the Bloom Closet.
Perfect. That actually segues perfect into my next question.
Yeah.
A lot of a nonprofit success is often tied to the community. How does Bloom Closet engage with the community around here, not just in Fayette County, but outside of that? And what are some ways that people can get involved?
Right. Well, I think we have a very strong social media presence. And like I said before, we have a young staff who they're all about making TikTok videos and Instagram. That's like not in my wheelhouse, but we get the message out there through social media, through speaking engagements. We have a strong development team. We're constantly going out and talking to churches and just have been so blessed. I think people wrap themselves around our cause. It's just, it's not a hard, if you want to look at it as a sell. I hate to say that. It sounds so crass, but honestly, I think people have a heart for our cause. And I think that the Bloom Closet gives people who aren't in the position to foster parent the opportunity where they can give back in some way and help these kids. So, and it's a great way that we can get out there and educate the community on the needs of foster children, how to become a foster parent, what the requirements are. It gives us a great platform for that.
What is a common misconception about foster care or the children in foster care that you would like to clarify for people?
I think one of the things is, foster kids have a bad rap. I think there's a stigma attached to that, and I don't know if it's that people think that they've done something bad to be in their position, but it's just the exact opposite. They are the victims of neglect, abuse, or in some way their parents are struggling to keep them safe, and so they find themselves in the foster care system. They have done nothing. That's one misconception. And then I think sometimes people think foster parents, they get a bad rap. I think maybe people have the misconception that they're doing it for the money, or you hear these terrible news stories.
Right. It only takes one.
I know, exactly. But I think, they are the heroes to be able to make that commitment to open your home up to a child like that. And you really, I can't speak highly enough. Our foster care program that we operate, our foster parents are some of the finest people I know, and we're also picky about our foster parents. I think, you want people that are doing it for the right reasons, and I think it's just a very noble thing for people to make that commitment.
Passionate heart, for sure.
And then I think the other third misconception is that older youth don't need the help that younger youth do who are in foster care. Right. And that's also so untrue, because those youth who have been, especially teenagers, they're so hard to find homes for. And then if they get to the point where they're aging out of the system, the odds are just completely stacked against them as far as like homelessness, mental illness, and so that's the program that you mentioned before that we just recently started, called Bloom Beyond. And so what we do with that program is that we offer resources. We're able to we have Navigator. The young lady who runs our program actually has lived experience in foster care, and she is an amazing young lady who successfully aged out of the system, and that's become her work, and her mission in life is to help other youth her age. And so we're able to offer access to resources and services to help those children age out of the system successfully.
Wow. So like I was saying, there are so many aspects to this organization that many of us may not know about. Looking ahead, what are some of the things that you see, the goals for Bloom over the next 5 to 10 years?
I think we want to continue to deepen our practice and offer supports to families to be able to. Another program that we had is called our Family Resource Center, where we're actually providing services to prevent children from coming into the system in the first place.
Right.
And so we're continuing that. That's very meaningful to be able to offer in-home parent counseling and hopefully, because one of the things that I've realized over the years that children, even if they're removed from their homes, they want to go back home.
Right.
And it's hard for people to understand. And, there are some circumstances where maybe that's not the case, but for the most part, they want to go back.
Right.
They want their parents to complete the list of things that they need to do, and they want to go back home. So I think for that is to continue trying to prevent children from coming into care in the first place, but then also providing foster parents with the resources and support that they need in order to successfully parent traumatized children. It's a whole different ball game when you're dealing with children. A lot of them are coming into care now with significant mental health issues. And so we have a program called Bloom University where we provide training for those families just to be able to have the skills that they need. And then for the Bloom Closet, our long-term goal is to honestly, it's to reach every child in foster care in the state of Georgia through the Bloom Closet. And we've done great. Last year, we served 8,000 children from 143 Georgia counties. So, but there's still so much work to be done, and especially with that, we call it the Bloom Direct, which is the Stitch Fix model.
Right.
I have such high hopes for that, to expand that out. So our board, we're getting ready to redo our strategic plan for the next 3 years, and that'll be a big part of it, is to figure that out.
You're trying to prevent kids from having to come into foster care all the way to helping those who are aging out of foster care. That's fantastic. If somebody were interested in being a foster parent, how could they reach out to Bloom?
Well, I would recommend going to our website. There's a lot of great information there. It's www.bloomfosters.org, or we 770-460-6652. Give us a call. We will point you in the right direction.
All right, I'll make sure both of those contact points are in our show notes. And for someone who wants to just help out, what resources are you in need of?
Oh, gosh. Well, if you could start out by cleaning your child's closet out.
Yep.
We take donations of new or nearly new children's clothing from babies up through youth aging out of the system. That's a great way to help out. We need volunteers. We take large volunteer groups from corporations and churches and all those things, but train volunteers who are willing to come back every week. Okay. Those are golden. They help us defray the costs of paying for a big staff, and I think it's a great way to connect with other people in the community and for a good cause. So volunteers, we always need volunteers. And just having a collection drive for the Bloom Closet, respite homes for our foster care program. That's not as big of a commitment as becoming a regular foster parent, but it allows you to help foster parents because, they definitely need a break every now and then. So
respite is just literally for that. It's for a foster family to be able to have a break on a weekend or things like that.
It's a short term. It would be children who would be placed in your home short term. Say a foster parent had to go to a funeral, or they had to go out of town for whatever reason, or they just, like you said, they just needed a break.
Okay.
That is just a very valuable resource to be able to provide foster parents. And so respite homes are in great demand.
So a lot of opportunities for people to reach out and help. This is fantastic. And y'all be changing over you change out your closet every couple of months to where you have like a whole new look to it?
Yes, kind of. We have our seasonal changeovers.
Seasonal changeovers,
yes. We're doing that right now.
I thought I might have hit you about that time. I know that people may not be listening to this necessarily in October or November, but what is coming up the next couple of months for someone who might be listening?
Well, we have an angel tree where you can sponsor one of the children in our foster care program. Also at the Bloom Closet, that is, and we've got a link to that on our website.
Okay.
I know they'll be posting about that on Facebook as well. I know coats. Children's coats
yes.
and toys, of course, we're coming up on Christmas. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the great things around Christmas is we get a lot of toys, but it's able to sustain us through like July, which is great because every child who comes to the Bloom Closet, you got to have a toy. And even if you're an older kid, we have different things that we, electronics or whatever that we give to them when they come. So.
That is fantastic. You are doing such good work around here.
Thank you.
Statewide, I just love the way, if you just said 10 or 15 years ago that you were going to reach out to 143 counties this year.
I never would have believed it.
Never would have thought it. So there's no doubt in my mind you will be reaching every child in the state before too long.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for coming on, and I hope that some of our listeners have maybe piqued a little interest in helping out or finding some stuff that they could donate. And there's a drop-off center in Peachtree City, too, and one here in Fayetteville. Is that correct?
Yes. It's right behind the Line Creek Brewery
Huddleston?
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming along and joining me with today. I hope this has been as much fun for you as it has been for me.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And be sure to tune us in on our next podcast coming out. You can always find us at FayetteFootprints.buzzsprout.com, and Fayette Footprints is on all of your favorite podcatchers. Just look for Fayette Footprints. And remember, if you have any ideas for future episodes, you can reach out to me at FayetteFootprints@gmail.com, or you can actually reach me through the FayetteFootprints.buzzsprout page. There's a link on there where you can drop a text. Thank you for listening in, and I hope you'll tune in soon.